Ladies and gentlemen, there is a curious irony to human nature, a paradox we seldom discuss. The kindest souls, the ones who embody compassion and empathy, often find themselves walking through life alone. It's not because they are unworthy of connection, on the contrary, it's precisely because they shine so brightly that they are misunderstood, even overlooked. Niceness, at its core, is a double-edged sword. To be genuinely kind is to see the world not through the lens of self-interest, but through a heart tuned to the needs of others. Nice people give readily, listen intently, and love deeply. Yet, in this selflessness, they sometimes forget to leave space for their own needs. They pour endlessly into others' cups, leaving their own empty. But niceness is often misinterpreted. It is mistaken for weakness, for a lack of boundaries or strength. How often does society admire the bold and the brash, while dismissing those who move with quiet grace? In a world that rewards self-promotion, the humble are often left unheard, their worth hidden in the shadow of louder voices. And then there is the weight they carry, the burden of emotional labor. A nice person becomes the confidant, the healer, the one who is called in times of need. Yet when the roles reverse, when they seek solace, they find few who can match their depth of care. It's a lonely weight, to feel so deeply and yet be met with indifference. But let us not pity those who walk alone, for solitude is not always sorrow. To be alone is not necessarily to be lonely. Many kind souls find solace in their own company, choosing to guard their hearts against superficial connections. They walk paths of self-discovery, unearthing the treasures within themselves that no one else could see. You see, being kind in a world that can be harsh is an act of quiet rebellion. It takes courage. It takes resilience. And though their journey may seem solitary, nice people leave behind a trail of goodness, a legacy of hearts touched and lives uplifted. So let us not wonder why they are alone, but rather admire their strength to stand apart. For their solitude is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to their unmatched depth of character. Niceness is a concept that seems simple at first glance, but upon closer examination, it reveals a labyrinth of complexities. To be nice is to embody traits that society praises: kindness, patience, generosity, and empathy. Yet the reality for those who live these qualities deeply is far from idyllic. Their niceness, while celebrated in principle, often creates a tension between their inner world and the external realities they face. At its heart, niceness stems from a profound understanding of others. Nice people are attuned to the emotions, struggles, and needs of those around them. They anticipate discomfort, sense tension before it manifests, and instinctively offer a kind word, a helping hand, or an ear to listen. This sensitivity is both their gift and their challenge. While it enables them to build bridges and foster harmony, it also means they are often the ones who shoulder the emotional burdens of others, sometimes at great personal cost. The truly nice are givers by nature. They thrive on making others feel valued, safe, and cared for. However, this tendency to prioritize others can come at the expense of their own well-being. They may say yes when they want to say no, agree to requests that drain their energy, or remain silent in the face of behavior that disrespects their boundaries. It's not weakness that drives these choices, it's a deeply ingrained belief that the happiness of others is worth their own discomfort. Yet, over time, this self-sacrificing nature can lead to resentment, exhaustion, and a sense of invisibility. Adding to this complexity is the way society perceives niceness. In a world that often equates power with assertiveness and self-promotion, niceness is sometimes misread as passivity or a lack of ambition. The quiet, unassuming manner of nice people can be mistaken for timidity or even a lack of individuality. As a result, their contributions may be overlooked and their presence underestimated. This misjudgment can lead to feelings of isolation, as they struggle to reconcile their own value with the way they are perceived. Moreover, niceness creates an unspoken expectation. Once someone is identified as nice, they become a reliable source of comfort and support. People turn to them in times of need, but may forget to reciprocate when the tables are turned. This dynamic can leave nice people feeling used or unappreciated, as though their role in others' lives is to give endlessly without expectation of receiving. Over time, this imbalance can erode their trust in relationships, causing them to retreat into solitude where their kindness is not taken for granted. Another layer of complexity lies in the internal conflict nice people often face. They may wrestle with the fear of being seen as selfish if they assert their needs. Saying no can feel like a betrayal of their identity, as if their worth is tied solely to their ability to serve others. This internal struggle can make it difficult for them to draw healthy boundaries, leading to a cycle where their own needs are consistently sidelined. Yet, niceness is not inherently a flaw. It is, in fact, a profound strength, a choice to approach the world with compassion and generosity in an age where these qualities are often in short supply. The complexity lies not in the niceness itself, but in navigating a world that doesn't always know how to honor it. Nice people carry within them a quiet resilience, an ability to persist in their kindness despite the challenges it brings. It is this resilience that allows them to leave a lasting impact on those they encounter, even if that impact is not always immediately recognized. To understand the complexity of niceness is to recognize it as a delicate balance, a dance between selflessness and self-preservation, between giving freely and ensuring one's own cup remains full. It requires navigating a path that honors both the needs of others and their own. And while this journey is not without its difficulties, it is also a testament to the enduring power of kindness in a world that desperately needs it. Misunderstood intentions are a painful reality for many nice people, whose kindness and goodwill are often misinterpreted by those around them. Their actions, rooted in genuine care, are sometimes viewed through a lens of skepticism or misjudgment. This disconnect between intent and perception creates a profound challenge, leaving nice people feeling alienated or undervalued in relationships. One of the most common misunderstandings stems from the assumption that niceness is synonymous with weakness. A person who approaches life with gentleness and empathy is often seen as lacking the strength or assertiveness to navigate tough situations. Their choice to de-escalate conflict, prioritize harmony, or avoid harsh confrontation is sometimes misread as passivity or an unwillingness to stand up for themselves. In reality, these choices often require immense emotional strength. Choosing kindness in the face of adversity is not a sign of fragility but of resilience and a deep commitment to values that transcend personal ego. Another layer of misunderstanding arises when nice people are perceived as insincere. In a world where ulterior motives often lurk behind seemingly kind actions, genuine niceness can seem too good to be true. People may question why someone is being so helpful or thoughtful, suspecting hidden agendas where none exist. This skepticism can lead to a lack of trust, which is deeply disheartening for those whose intentions are pure. For the nice person, being doubted despite their best efforts feels like a betrayal, as if their authenticity is invisible or invalidated. Furthermore, nice people often struggle with being taken for granted. Their readiness to offer support, advice, or comfort is sometimes seen as a given rather than a gift. This expectation can devalue their efforts, making others less likely to recognize or appreciate the thought and care that goes into their actions. When kindness becomes the norm, it risks being overlooked entirely, leaving the nice person feeling unseen and unappreciated. Misunderstood intentions can also create a sense of imbalance in relationships. Nice people may find themselves in situations where they give more than they receive, not because they expect reciprocation, but because their nature compels them to give freely. However, when this giving is met with indifference or exploitation, it can lead to feelings of resentment and loneliness. They might wonder if their kindness is a flaw, something that others exploit rather than cherish. The challenges of misunderstood intentions are further compounded by societal narratives that undervalue kindness. In competitive environments, for example, being nice can be mistaken for a lack of ambition or drive. People may assume that someone who prioritizes collaboration and compassion is not capable of making tough decisions or asserting their authority. This bias can limit opportunities for nice individuals, who must work harder to prove their competence while staying true to their values. For nice people, the pain of being misunderstood runs deep because their actions are not transactional or strategic, they are an extension of who they are. When their kindness is misjudged, it feels personal, as though their very essence is being questioned or dismissed. This dissonance can lead to self-doubt, making them question whether their approach to the world is sustainable or worthwhile. Yet, despite these challenges, the intentions of nice people remain steadfast. Their kindness is not contingent on recognition or validation, it is an intrinsic part of their character. They continue to act with compassion, even when misunderstood, because they know that their actions are not about seeking approval, but about living authentically. Their ability to persist in kindness despite misjudgment is a quiet testament to their inner strength and conviction. In the end, misunderstood intentions are not a reflection of the nice person's worth, but of the complexity of human perception. While it can be disheartening to be misjudged, the impact of genuine kindness often extends far beyond what is immediately visible. The seeds of goodwill they plant may take time to grow, but they leave a lasting legacy in the hearts of those who eventually come to recognize their value. The burden of emotional labor is an often unseen weight carried by nice people, who find themselves constantly tending to the emotional needs of others. This labor goes beyond surface-level interactions. It is an ongoing effort to listen, support, empathize, and comfort those around them, even at great personal cost. While their capacity to nurture and care is a beautiful quality, the relentless demands it places on their emotional reserves can lead to profound exhaustion and isolation. Nice people are naturally attuned to the feelings of those around them. They notice subtle changes in tone, body language, and mood, responding instinctively to alleviate discomfort or distress. They become the go-to person for friends, family, and colleagues during times of trouble, offering a safe space for others to vent, seek advice, or share their struggles. While this role can be fulfilling, it often becomes an unspoken expectation. Over time, people begin to rely on their kindness, assuming it will always be available, without considering the toll it might take. What makes emotional labor particularly draining is its invisibility. Unlike physical labor, which is often recognized and rewarded, emotional labor tends to go unnoticed. The effort involved in being an empathetic listener, mediating conflicts, or managing the emotions of others is rarely acknowledged, let alone reciprocated. For nice people, this lack of recognition can lead to feelings of being undervalued, as though their contributions are seen as a natural part of who they are rather than a conscious act of care. The burden is further compounded by the imbalance that often arises in relationships. Nice people give generously not because they expect something in return, but because they genuinely want to help. However, when their support is not reciprocated, it creates a one-sided dynamic that leaves them feeling drained and unfulfilled. They may find that when they need someone to lean on, the same people they have supported are unavailable or unwilling to provide the same level of care. This realization can be deeply disheartening, reinforcing the sense that they are alone in their struggles. Another challenge of emotional labor is the difficulty of setting boundaries. Nice people often struggle to say no, fearing they will disappoint or hurt others. They may take on more than they can handle, stretching themselves thin to meet the needs of everyone around them. This inability to set limits can lead to burnout, as they continue to give even when they have nothing left to offer. The constant pressure to be the emotional anchor for others can also result in neglecting their own well-being, leaving them vulnerable to stress, anxiety, and even depression. The burden of emotional labor also affects how nice people view themselves. Over time, they may internalize the expectation that their worth is tied to their ability to care for others. This belief can lead to feelings of inadequacy if they are unable to meet these expectations or if their efforts go unappreciated. They may question whether their kindness is truly valued or if it is simply being taken for granted. Yet, despite these challenges, nice people often find it difficult to step away from their role as caregivers. Their empathy and compassion are deeply ingrained, making it hard for them to prioritize their own needs without feeling guilty. They may worry that setting boundaries or taking a step back will make them appear selfish or uncaring, even though self-care is essential for their own emotional health. The emotional labor nice people perform is both a gift and a challenge. It allows them to build deep, meaningful connections with others and to make a positive impact on the lives they touch. However, the weight of constantly carrying others' emotions can take a significant toll if not balanced with self-care and boundaries. Learning to recognize their own needs and to communicate those needs effectively is crucial for their well-being. Ultimately, the burden of emotional labor is a testament to the strength and resilience of nice people. Despite the challenges it brings, they continue to show up for others, offering kindness and understanding in a world that often feels harsh and unforgiving. Their ability to give so much of themselves is a rare and valuable quality, one that deserves to be celebrated and supported rather than taken for granted. Selective vulnerability is a defining characteristic of many nice people, shaped by their experiences of giving deeply while often receiving less in return. It is not that they are incapable of being open or forming meaningful connections, rather, they have learned to be cautious about whom they allow into their inner world. This approach stems from a desire to protect their emotional well-being while continuing to navigate relationships with kindness and care. Nice people are often deeply empathetic, with an innate ability to sense and respond to the needs of others. They approach relationships with openness, ready to share their time, energy, and compassion. However, this very trait has often led to situations where their kindness has been misunderstood, overlooked, or exploited. When they give freely and unconditionally, they sometimes encounter people who take advantage of their generosity or fail to reciprocate in kind. Over time, these experiences can lead them to build protective barriers around their hearts, allowing access only to those who have earned their trust. This selectivity is not rooted in bitterness or resentment, but in self-preservation. Nice people understand that their emotional resources are finite and that they cannot afford to give endlessly without receiving support in return. By being selective about their vulnerability, they aim to avoid the pain of unbalanced relationships and the exhaustion that comes from being the constant giver. They recognize the importance of surrounding themselves with people who appreciate their kindness and are willing to invest in a mutual exchange of care and understanding. At the same time, this selectivity can create challenges. Nice people often find themselves yearning for deeper connections, but are hesitant to take the risks required to build them. They may hold back parts of themselves, fearing that their openness will be met with indifference or worse, used against them. This guardedness can make it difficult for others to truly understand or appreciate the depth of their character, perpetuating a sense of isolation. They walk a fine line between protecting themselves and remaining open to the possibility of meaningful relationships. Another aspect of selective vulnerability is the careful consideration of how much of their emotional world they share with others. Nice people are often the ones who listen more than they speak, focusing on the needs and stories of those around them, rather than revealing their own struggles. This dynamic can make it appear as though they have few problems, or that they are perpetually strong, further discouraging others from probing deeper into their lives. In reality, their silence is often a form of self-protection, a way to avoid imposing their burdens on others or risking rejection. Selective vulnerability also reflects the high standards that nice people have for their relationships. They value authenticity and depth, seeking connections that are built on mutual respect and understanding. While they may have many acquaintances, they reserve their deepest trust for a select few who have demonstrated their reliability and care. This approach ensures that their most meaningful relationships are based on a solid foundation, even if it means that their social circle remains small. However, this cautious approach can sometimes be misconstrued. People may perceive nice individuals as distant, reserved, or even aloof, not realizing that their guardedness is a reflection of past experiences rather than a lack of interest in connection. This misunderstanding can further isolate them, as others may not take the time to break through the protective walls they have built. Despite these challenges, selective vulnerability is a powerful tool for nice people to maintain their emotional health and sustain their capacity to care for others. It allows them to balance their natural inclination to give with the need to protect themselves from unnecessary harm. By being thoughtful about where they invest their emotional energy, they ensure that their kindness is directed toward relationships that truly value and nurture them in return. In the end, selective vulnerability is not about shutting people out, it is about preserving the integrity of their kindness while navigating a world that does not always reciprocate it. It is a testament to their resilience and wisdom, a way of safeguarding their ability to continue giving without losing themselves in the process. For those fortunate enough to earn their trust, the depth of connection they offer is profound and transformative, a rare gift that reflects the beauty of their guarded, yet generous hearts. The journey of self-discovery is a deeply personal and often transformative experience, particularly for nice people who navigate life with an innate desire to care for others. For many of them, this journey begins when they realize that the path they have been walking, one of constant giving and self-sacrifice, has left their own needs unmet. It is in these quiet moments of reflection, often spurred by feelings of loneliness or exhaustion, that they begin to turn inward, seeking answers and meaning within themselves. For nice people, self-discovery is not a rejection of their kindness, but an exploration of how it fits into a life that also honors their own worth. They begin to question the patterns that have defined their interactions. Why do they feel compelled to always say yes? Why do they place others' happiness above their own? These questions lead to profound realizations about boundaries, self-respect, and the balance between giving and receiving. This journey often involves confronting uncomfortable truths. Nice people may come to recognize that their tendency to prioritize others has, in some cases, been a way to seek validation or avoid conflict. They might realize that their fear of disappointing others has kept them from pursuing their own dreams or expressing their true feelings. These insights, while difficult, are essential steps toward reclaiming their sense of self. As they delve deeper, nice people discover that their worth is not tied to how much they give, but to who they are. This realization marks a turning point as they begin to see themselves as deserving of the same care and kindness they have so freely offered to others. They learn that it is not selfish to prioritize their own needs or to take time for themselves. It is an act of self-preservation and self-love. The journey of self-discovery also involves redefining relationships. Nice people often find themselves reassessing the dynamics they have with others, identifying those that are supportive and mutual versus those that are draining or one-sided. This process can be painful, as it may require letting go of relationships that no longer serve their well-being. However, it is also liberating, as it creates space for connections that are healthier and more fulfilling. During this journey, solitude becomes an important companion. For nice people, being alone is not about loneliness, but about creating a space where they can reconnect with themselves. It is in these moments of quiet that they can reflect on their values, rediscover their passions, and nurture their inner world. Solitude becomes a sanctuary, a place where they can explore who they are without the constant demands of others' expectations. Self-discovery also leads nice people to embrace their individuality. In a world that often rewards conformity or bold assertiveness, they come to appreciate the quiet strength of their kindness and the unique perspective it brings. They realize that their capacity for empathy and compassion is not a weakness but a powerful force for good, both in their own lives and in the lives of others. This journey is not a straight path but a series of steps, each one bringing them closer to a fuller understanding of themselves. Along the way, they may experiment with setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, and asserting their own needs. These changes, though challenging at first, gradually become empowering as they see the positive impact on their mental and emotional health. In the end, the journey of self-discovery is a profound act of self-empowerment. It is a reminder that nice people are not defined solely by their relationships with others, but by the rich and multifaceted individuals they are. Through this process, they emerge not as diminished versions of themselves, but as individuals who have embraced their kindness while standing firmly in their own power and truth. It is a journey of becoming whole, of finding balance, and of realizing that their light shines brightest when it illuminates not just the lives of others, but their own as well.